Try to remember back about 30 years ago when television was first arriving on the scene. At the time, there were a lot of concerns about what the popularity of those new machines would mean for society. In the 80s, another new machine is entering our living rooms, and tonight Scott McDonald looks at some concerns about the home video industry in our Newsplus special report.
Home video systems are nearing the point where they could have a significant impact on the rest of the entertainment industry. Home video recorders are now available in the $300 range, making them available to almost everyone. At the other extreme, systems can now be purchased that have recorders hooked up to expensive stereo systems for high-quality sound. There is a big question about what effect all this home video stuff will have on movie-going in the future. Certainly there are movies like Star Wars that watching them on your home television will be nothing like they will be if you see them in a nice theater with a big screen and a great sound system. But there are plenty of movies, like Airplane, for instance, that are just as nice at home, and when you consider taking the entire family, they can be a whole lot cheaper. Theater owners have faced this threat before when television first arrived on the scene, and they feel watching a movie on home video systems has many of the same flaws that have kept people going to the movies.
It's as if you're having a cocktail party and as an afterthought you're showing a film, as the way it ends up. Whereas when you go to a theater, you're specifically going there for that experience of seeing that film in a social atmosphere.
But some people who have grown up watching television say their home recorders are keeping them out of the theater.
Not at all.
Why is that?
It's much cheaper to rent movies.
What about new releases and that, you can't see an Officer and Gentleman or E.T. at home now?
Well, they'll be coming.
No, I don't go as much now. I prefer watching the video home tapes in the privacy of my own home.
That privacy that home video systems afford has been a tremendous boon to the pornography industry. At one large video chain, X-rated movies have made up as much as 50% of the rental business.
If Warner Brothers and Paramount and MGM and the others run through a dry spell where they don't issue or release many new titles, I think the X-rated pick up during that period of time. But overall, it's about 35 or 40%.
SAIA estimates that 70% of the people who own home video systems have at least one X-rated tape in their library. And this is largely made up of people who wouldn't dream of going out to an adult movie theater. So home video has meant thousands of dollars of new profit for pornographers. But that is an entirely legal business. It seems whenever a new industry develops, there are new profits, new entrepreneurs, new jobs, and unfortunately new crimes. The crime in the home video industry is piracy, the illegal copying of movies. And one statistic ought to put it all in perspective. The Motion Picture Association of America estimates that piracy is costing them over $100 million a year in lost revenue. The MPAA worked with the FBI and other agencies in cracking what they consider to be one of the biggest piracy cases in the country. That was earlier this month in Carmichael. Investigators say they found over 1,700 separate movies in this house, including blockbusters like Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Empire Strikes Back, that have never been released on videotape. A federal grand jury is still considering any possible indictment of the Air Force captain who lives here. How much money can be made from this kind of operation? Two men in London started with 2 machines and a couple movies. When caught 7 months later, they had 27 machines and were grossing $100,000 a week. But video pirates aren't the only lawbreakers. Technically, everyone who has a home recorder is probably guilty of breaking the law. You see, the latest court ruling says it is illegal to tape anything off of television for whatever purpose because of the producer's copyright.
I think the decision will be overturned. I think people will be allowed to record off the air. If they're not, they'll do it anyway.
At least that appears to be the case. Sales of the machines haven't been hurt by the latest court ruling. Congress is now considering a law that would make video recording for home use only perfectly legal. But Congress is also considering a law that could hurt the video consumer. It would change the right of first sale, which basically means that once you buy something, you can do with it what you want, except perhaps make a copy. That allows stores to buy videotapes and then rent them out.
The legislation that's before Congress now will do away with that. And the supplier or the producer will have the right to either sell the tape to you and dictate what he can do, what you can do with it. So if he wants you to rent it, he'll allow you to rent it after you pay him a certain percentage or some royalty fee.
SAIA says that may bring down the price of new movies, but could limit the number of movies for rent and drive up the cost of renting. The growth of the home video industry continues at an astounding rate. Perhaps a machine someday will be as common as their partner, the television, and as much a source of controversy. Scott McDonald for News Plus.
How are the farmers on McDonald Island faring with the flood? We'll take a look for you. But next on the TV 40 10 o'clock News Plus, the sea breeze kept us cool this weekend, but it is bound to end. You know that.